Huge hello, everybody. Shannon Bush here, or I should say Shannon B now, as you will come to know me more as moving forward. So founder of the Thrive Factor Archetypes and Thrive Factor School, and also my other main business, Creative Possibility. Delighted to be here today to do an introduction to one of the very first Thrive Factor School graduates, the beautiful Kim Herman. I felt like I've been introducing, her in various ways when she's been a student, but I felt like it was a good opportunity for us to actually have a conversation and let you hear from Kim a little bit more about who she is and what her archetypes are and what she's ready to bring to the world with some more Thrive Factor goodness. So I've known Kim for a few years now and known her in different ways through business. And one thing that's really stood out for me is how she has got such a big heart, and she's so determined and fiercely ready to be out there in the world and to champion and support women through, I guess, all types of transformation. And she's got a real gift for working with intuition and insight, get a very extensive background and all sorts of things that she might tell you a little bit about. And she just seems to be able to nail right into what it is that you need to shift to get out of the way. And I know that adding the Thrive Factor profiling to her repertoire of amazing things to offer was something that she's been so excited about. So today, hopefully she's going to tell us why. So over to you, beautiful Kim. Can you come and tell everyone a little bit more about you, and then we'll talk a bit more specifically about the Thrive Factor.
Sure, I would love to, Shannon. My name is Kim Herman and my business is Kim Herman Transformations. And basically I specialise in transformation, specifically mindset and I guess heart set for women only I work with, and helping now, especially with the Thrive Factor profiling, helping women recognise their innate strengths, who they are, which to me becomes their superpower. When you know and accept yourself, that becomes your superpower.
Yeah.
And I am extremely excited to be one of the first certified Thrive Factor profilers.
It's out there in the world, being the wise guide for women on their journey, whatever that is. So
yes.
Let's start, before we talk a little bit more about how you're going to use the Thrive Factor in your work. Why don't you do a bit of an introduction by sharing any of your archetypes? So this is a bit of disclaimer here. Kim's got 7. She's the only person I've ever profiled who actually legitimately has 7 archetypes. The general, I won't say average because no one's average, but the general is that, that women will have 3, 4 or 5 archetypes, which is always interesting to me to see what the combination is. And Kim, as I said, legitimately has 7, but she tends to lead with a core group of them. So how about you tell us what they are, Kim, and again, what your superpowers are because of those archetypes that you have.
Yeah, like you said, there are some core ones that I guess out of that 7 are definitely the most dominant, but I can see where all of them have contributed and played part in who I am during my life. So I guess at the moment, the ones that I think really help explain who I am and contribute to what I do and finding my superpower is, first of all, the Inspire Believer, who is, she's the cheerleader of others.
She's the one, which is why we get so excited.
Yeah, yes. And, as an Inspire Believer, I love to see the best in people, and I can see the potential within people. And I'm so passionate about helping women be able to see that about themselves so that then they can shine.
Yeah.
And, it means that I guess generally I tend to see the bright side of things and look for the silver lining in things, and it's the Inspire Believer that it enables me to do that.
Yeah.
Then there's a mental teacher, which is why I would have jumped at doing this course. I do love learning and I do have a wide repertoire in my background, but some of them have drifted away over time. But the mental teacher allows me to learn things quite easily, and I love to share what I learn with others. The work I do with women basically came about because of my own personal healing journey. And so that it's that mentor teacher that's probably led me down that path at looking at what helped me heal. Now I want to help other women heal the same way.
Yeah. And there's such a beautiful combination of that Inspire Believer, mentor teacher, and they're 2 of my archetypes. And I know our other graduates also have that same core combination of the same archetypes in all of us. But I love that because it can lead to an oversharing, but it's a sharing with excitability, with that beautiful lens of positivity and realistic optimism from the inspired believer, but then the deep wisdom that comes from the mentor teacher. So yeah, very cool. So tell us about the rest of you.
And I think learning about that mentor teacher's challenge of being someone that does courses all the time, not necessarily because they need to, but because they may feel they don't know enough, has been really valuable for me to understand that.
Oh, good.
Because I tend to now, if I'm thinking about doing something, ask myself, do I really need to do that course? How is it going to help the women I serve? Is it necessary? Yeah. So I have, I guess, my favourite ones of my archetype. I mean, I love them all, is the Shapeshifter Alchemist. And, you know, she's the magical, mystical archetype. And, I am a very spiritual person, and it is very part of my life. And I know that Shapeshifter Alchemist contributes to that. And I love when I'm working with people, making it a magical experience. And I now know that that's that Shapeshifter Alchemist, you know, contributing to that. You know, and looking back growing up, I see how the Shapeshifter Alchemist, who's very adaptable, allowed me to get along with all sorts of people from all walks of life. So then I have the Liberator Engineer, who is,
I have the same.
Yeah, so she, you know, really loves looking at the big picture. She looks at creating solutions like systems in place, and is really about trying to make things as simple as possible.
Yeah.
So I have always been like that in my life, looking at how I could simplify things, but I also apply that to the work I do with women. You know, what can I teach them, or what can I implement that's going to make things simple for them? And, you know, she loves her freedom. And I realise now, in the past, when I get overwhelmed, it's because I'm feeling caged in or feeling a lack of freedom. And now I understand that she's part of my archetype. I know that's why.
Yes.
And I make sure that I have the freedom I need in my life. And for me personally, that's time on my own. And that's not because I don't want to socialise or be with my family, but I really just love some time on my own. And sometimes that means going away on my own, or going away with maybe a friend and not with my family. Just having that little bit of space is what gives me that freedom.
And it is really about knowing how to use the engineering aspect of Liberator Engineer, isn't it, Kim, to make sure that we are engineering freedom for ourselves and others, and not engineering or over-engineering our lives so much so that we end up going from feeling quite free and spacious to feeling very trapped very quickly.
And I really realised that because I've worked for myself for over 10 years now, and I did work a couple of years ago part-time for a friend, helping her out in her business for a little while, and it felt so like having those set days and those set times and those set everything. I found it really claustrophobic, and I thought I would really enjoy it, but in the end, I knew that contract was finishing, I was actually so relieved.
I hear you. There's been many times since I started my own business, you know, we're in my 14th year now, where I have had such immense gratitude for my Liberator Engineer's overwhelming need for freedom, because she's the one that fuels me to create what I need so that I can stay as a business owner and keep growing and helping others with their businesses, and not ever contemplate going back and being an employee again. It's fine for so many people in the world, but I think there's a large number of Liberator Engineers that would be struggling out there in a regular employment environment.
Yeah,
definitely. So what I'd love for you to share with us now, Kim, is how you see the magic, to draw on one of your favourite words from your Shapeshifter Alchemist, the magic that you're going to bring to the world and to women by adding the Thrive Factor profiling and all the other things that I know that you're planning to do with it to your work moving forward.
I mean, for me, I have a big VIP program, which is Emotional Reset Program, and the Thrive Factor profiling is going to become part of that, because I find a lot of women that I've worked with have been in such a state of emotional overwhelm for long periods of time, because I work with women that have had chronic emotional issues or chronic limiting beliefs. And a lot of them have forgotten who they are, or they don't know who they are anymore. And I just know that this is going to be such a valuable tool to use with them to help them discover who they are and get excited about who they are and understand, you know, their strengths. And, you know, sometimes, you know, there's a few strengths in my archetypes that I wasn't aware was really there.
Yeah.
But now I know that it innately is part of me. It's just a matter of me feeding that and nurturing it so that it can grow.
Yeah.
And, you know, also sharing with them their potential challenges, you know, helps them to limit those challenges from occurring.
That's it. As we talk about, don't we, often is it's not about mitigating or preventing those challenges or potential challenges from existing. It's knowing what to do with them if they come up, so that they don't have a negative impact on us, or not as big a one, so we can bounce back or bounce forward really and have more resilience to be able to get back and to remember all the strengths that we have and to choose them to move forward.
So for example, I've got a lady I've profiled who, you know, has been a ongoing client of mine for a long period of time. And, you know, she's struggled with adrenal fatigue for 10 years. She's almost recovered from it. But her profile totally explained why, because all of her 5 archetypes were all very giving, overgiving. You know, that's the potential challenge of them, to overgive and not take care of themselves. So seeing that and sharing that with her was a big like, oh my gosh, this is how I ended up where I was with my health.
Yeah.
And now she understands that. She knows to focus on the strength side of those archetypes, because they're all amazing, and every archetype has amazing strengths, and all of them have potential challenges. No archetype's better than another.
That's right. No matter what people think about.
Yeah, and I also see the profiling, you know, for women, you know, that maybe don't think they need or want to have an emotional reset, that the Thrive Factor profile is transformational on its own. It allows you to transform by understanding and learning about yourself. So I can see, you know, myself working in the capacity with just using this with some women to help initiate a level of transformation within them in themselves, whether they just want to take their work or their life to the next level. You know, just understanding who you are, because knowledge is power.
It sure is. And what do they say? You know, one of the life or the longest inquiries of man and woman, if you like, has been that whole answering the whole know thyself. You know, who am I? Who am I meant to be? What is my purpose? Why am I here on this earth? And that was a lot of what was underpinning my thought processes when creating this framework, was what if there was a way that I could package some information, keep growing that over time and with my own learning, but to give women a framework for a deep understanding of who they are and a greater confidence and encouragement to then explore themselves further, to see what their innate potential was and to then express that. So, and here it is all happening. So beautiful. So Kim, I'm not going to specifically ask you to share where we can find out about you. You mentioned your business name is Kim Herman Transformations, because we will share along with this video, wherever you are watching this and listening to Kim and I, you will be able to, moving forward, find links where you'll be able to directly, in the very near future, go and find Kim on the Thrive Factor website. And if you are interested in profiling with her, go straight there, and we'll also list Kim's her main website for her business as well, and her socials and those sorts of things. So you can't say there's any excuse, but also come and hang out on the Thrive Factor Facebook page, and you will be able to connect with Kim in there moving forward as well. So, and if you're ever interested in coming in and studying and being a part of the Thrive Factor School programs and looking at the certification in the future, you may even have the opportunity to not just have me mentor you, but also to have Kim and our other graduates who will be potentially stepping into mentor roles with you as students. So it's very exciting. Yes, we said we were going to turn the world, and we are. We're going to turn the world all around the world.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, beautiful woman, for joining me. Thank you, everyone, for listening and getting a little bit of getting to know Kim and what she's going to bring in terms of all the opportunities that are now available to you as a potential client or a student or someone that she's working with and guiding through transformation and mindset, which are very much, as we've both said a number of times, her real zones of genius, or her real, what do we call it in the Thrive Factor world, her being in your effortless success zone.
Effortless success zone. Yeah. And my superpower. That's
and your superpowers, all one and the same. And also with that, you know, if any of you are familiar with the work of the Thrive Factor, my book, you will recognize that the final of the 4 M's I talk about is magnetism. So when we have found that space where we're in our effortless success zone, triggered our superpowers to be all that they can be, that's when the magnetism happens and we are able to draw in great people and opportunities and the kind of life that really makes us feel like we're thriving. So all of that just happens. So thank you again, gorgeous Kim. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And I'll be back with some further introductions at another point in time. And certainly we'll be having different conversations and sharing with Kim and our other graduates and sharing them with you in the future. Thanks, everyone. Bye.